type of test matches in 1957, 1988. And Billy Moore runs on to Australian soil in the green and gold jumper for the first time. He's played, and many of these players, in fact, have played for Australia overseas. 15 of the 17 were members of the 1995 World Cup team that was successful. Mark Coyne is there, and that means no Brett Dallas. As Paul reported, a decision was being made as the boys were previewing and leading into the telecast. Matt Singh is on the bench, and Mark Coyne is in the run-on side in number 14. And the other young man who's been the cynosure of all eyes today, not necessarily for his on-field prowess, has been Jeff Tuvey, the Australian number 7. We'll tell you more about that as the rest of the world is taken out by Adrian Lamb. Magnificent occasion for Adrian. Tremendous State of Origin series for Adrian. And he leads out this collection of very talented players. Jason Robinson for one and Jason Lowry another. Sprinkled in amongst some players that no doubt would be feeling the nerves very much so. Not Gary Connolly, 20 tests for Great Britain. He's in the one jumper today. And a big day for this man, Marcus Bai, and several others on debut. Bob Fulton and Malcolm Reilly come together again. Malcolm has coached 42 tests for Great Britain. David Manson's got the whistle. Bob Fulton, 37 tests at the helm. "14 times they've clashed as coaches, incidentally, and Fulton's teams have won 11. We go into the test match, Australia versus the rest of the world, at Suncorp Stadium here in Brisbane. And the first play of the night brought back from on his own dead ball line by Jason Robinson. Released by Wigan, Super League club. Both he and Gary Connolly permitted to play. Both, of course, ARL contracted players. This is Lowry. And out almost to the 20-metre line. Memories will be coming back to a couple of great rugby league players as this match unfolds. Dick Poole captained Australia back in 57. And in 88, of course, it was the king himself, Wally Lewis. Big start offered about the rest of the world team. And some shrewd punters, well, they mightn't prove to be shrewd, have taken 26.5-point start. Brasher was under a cloud. He's out there and playing as they come to the halfway line.
Well, Paul Vaughton's never been that shrewd, Ray, I've got to say. Very important for the rest of the world side to get some go forward. Here's Paul Harrigan trying to do that for the Australian team. But Hermanson, Lowry, they must get the hard meters in the middle of the ruck, take the team forward. Billy Moore takes it inside the 40. Gary Larson takes the next play.
Moore and Larson, of course, very much playing in front of their home crowd. As Fittler tries to put the back line into motion. It came off the legs of Brasher, went over the sideline. And just outside the 20-metre line, the first scrum of the night will pack. Fittler's pass. Brasher tried to, I guess, get an infield kick on it, but it's gone over the sideline. This will give possession back to rest of the world.
And Coach Bob Fulton adopting the same tactics he used to win the 95 World Cup as far as Tuvey and Andrew Johns are concerned. Tuvey playing dummy half and Johns the receiving halfback.
Andrew Johns in the middle of all of that. 40 minutes of football, I think, from memory behind him. It's not a big preparation. Marcus Bai, and the penalty goes against the Australians for being offside at the scrum base. Incredibly, this man, Craig Innes, is debuting in rugby league tonight. Brilliant player, Manly centre, has played for the All Blacks, so becomes a dual international with this match tonight. That kick actually went backwards. Mind you, it was from the centre of the park. Lowry, one of several New Zealanders on show. And now for Hermanson. Oh, He was on the end of a great shoulder charge from Harrigan. Harrigan, oh dear. It is Hermansen, isn't it? Yes.
Not that he knows that it's Terry Hermansen. Harrigan and Carroll involved in the tackle. Harrigan was the point of contact and Carroll coming in behind just to lend some assistance. It's a big hit. Terry Hermansen, he was in all sorts of trouble. Couldn't get up and play the football. Fortunately for the rest of the world side, he's on his feet now after this collision. It's big stuff there from the two Australian front rowers.
And Harvey Howard on the sideline warming up in case Hermansen can't continue.
Well, many people felt that the Western Suburbs forward should have been in the run-on side as he warms up, stretches. This is O'Reilly, met and pulled down by the Australian lock forward Billy Moore. Play coming up towards the 40-metre line as Gary Connolly was able to beat the tackle of Tuvey, and they press it across to the left before coming back down the centre with Innes, and again cover work by Moore. Now on the last tackle, Lamb high into the air. The chase is good from rest of the world's Robinson. Ball goes loose. Manson ruling the turnover to Australia.
Yeah, great tactics there. They're playing well, the rest of the world. I mean, they're not hopeless. I'm telling you, there's some very, very good players out there. And this is a beautiful kick from Adrian Lamb. Look at Robinson steaming onto it. Actually gets up above his opposite, but couldn't control the football.
Be a very brave man to tell Tony Hermansen, Jason Lowry or Jared McCracken they're hopeless. They certainly don't think they are. And as Paul points out, some of the points start on offer. Quite ridiculous, really. Here's Larson now.
Well, the question mark in this rest of the world side is some of the players that we don't put in the same category as the Adrian Lambs and the English players. As Fittler gets a kick in, all the Australian chasers are offside. Gary Connolly finally picks up. But I've seen a fair bit of Tom O'Reilly and Marcus Bai for the Gold Coast this year. Put them in good company. Now, they're not going to let you down. Here's Bai picking up some tough metres now. I think the back row is probably the question mark. You know, the work rates of Tankatatoa and Ramika really have to come to the fore tonight.
Almost to the 40-metre line for Howard. Joining up with a couple of his English compatriots. Flick pass. Going to ground, and the knock-on has been ruled by Manson. Tom O'Reilly, a look of disgust. Andrew Johns looks like he's beefed up. Why wouldn't he, I suppose, is the question. O'Reilly's pass, and then it was Ramika who tried to touch it to light fantastic. It backfired. A rather subdued start by the green and golds blocker.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's best that it's been a very quiet start for the Australian side. There's no talk in there at the moment, and it took Chief Harrigan to put on a big hit to really get them going, but at the moment there's been nothing said.
Here's the ball coming left, and McGregor, good run by him down to the 20-metre line, losing it though, undoing the good work, and little Robinson coming away with it before it's spread quickly towards the centre of the ground, and Ramika's pass has gone across for Innes. Fittler's up around the neck area, and it's O'Reilly at acting half.
Jason Lowry losing the football now, giving the Australians possession, although it's been raked out, so it'll be a penalty for the rest of the world side. I've said on a couple of occasions during the week, I really think the rest of the world have made a grave mistake playing Gary Connolly at fullback. As you see, ball pulled out by Andrew Johns, he was the culprit. I just think Connolly should be up in the centres on the other side of the field to Craig Innes, being up there, making decisions closer to the action than back at fullback where the horse might have already bolted before he has to get involved. He's just a class defensive player and needs to be up there. We just saw Paul McGregor run straight over the top of Phil Howard.
Howard there on the end of the tackle from the Australian captain. Brad Fittler, of course, the most capped of the Australian players, 22 test matches in his international career, which has spanned since '91. 6 more tackles indicated by David Manson. There's a very good chance here for the rest of the world. They're coming right across the park, and of course plenty of tackles to work with, and Connolly into the play, working with Robinson. Robinson angling back, leaving one behind him, and then 21 metres out in the centre of the ground. They've got to go left, there's no players on the right. Jackson, a bobbing run through the forward division. That's how close they are. can they do something with it? This is the big question mark as Lamb gets a pass to O'Reilly. He wishes that he didn't get it because Fittler hit him with the shoulder again. A chance here as the ball goes loose, but McGregor's got it for Australia. Clean ball. Prepared to try something. Some variation there from the rest of the world.
I do think the world side believe that maybe one of their major tactics tonight will be the kicking game. The Australian defence is so strong. And that might be just the way to break it up, putting a little one through every now and then just to make sure they're not coming up as quickly as they would like. Harrigan takes it 30 out from his own line. 8th minute of the game. No score. Tuvey. Back and in for more. Taken by Tangata-Toa. Playing at the back of the scrum for the world side. And Johns' kick is taken back by Connolly beyond the 20. He'll reach 30. Runs into Tuvey underneath and Moore over the top. Big day, as I said, for Jeff Tuvey. Flew back to Sydney to be there for the birth of his daughter Georgia. And to Kelly and to Jeff, we wish them all the very, very best. He's covered more ground than Bigglesworth today, Jeff Tuvey. To the halfway line now.
Who?
Oh, I don't know what his name. I think his full name was Bigglesworth. Don't.
Turner.
Let's not delve into history. Howard then on the 5th. Lamb putting a kick into the gap between winger and full back. It's back there with Mark Coyne. And Mark playing out in the wing position, uncustomary for him. But most people thought Matt Singh would actually leapfrog him and come into the side on the wing. Such is not the case, as you can see. This is Billy Moore now on his own 30-metre line. Having a busy night as Carroll lumbers forward. Jackson meets him down low. Lowry comes over the top with Tangata-Toa, and that's the 40-metre line. Fittler spreading across. Brasher to come in. McGregor combines. Pulled down by O'Reilly on the halfway line. Menzies. Prolific scorer of tries, not only here in Sydney and in Brisbane, but of course, I'm just trying to think how many tries he did score on the Kangaroo Tour. And Tuvey, Brasher in the middle of the ground. The ball goes away. Oh, it's been cut down. Johns pulled down by the centre, Howlett. And that's been a real try-saving tackle by the young South Sydney centre.
Well, that was tremendous football from both teams. Brad Fittler realising on the last tackle, they just slackened off in defence, the world side, thought that the work had been done, and straight through they went. Tim Brasher had support on the outside in Fittler again. Andrew Johns there, and Phil Howlett came up. The tackle that did save them 4, probably 6.
It was great defence by Connolly, wasn't it? Racing up to Brasher to force him to throw the pass, and now a head-high tackle against Australia.
You've got him high. No, you've got him high. Get him down. Get him down.
Talking of Paul McGregor being involved in a head-high tackle, I'll never forget the night at Alice Springs when he took a shocker. It smashed his cheekbone, and it put Paul out for the season from memory.
Well, I know that the penalty there was for the high tackle, but that was one of those occasions where it went a long way up off the football. He hit it down around the chest area and ended up around the neck, so the penalty was well and truly sufficient. McCracken, each one can't beat the second.
Just a rise of inflection there from Sterling. The octave went up as the Parramatta player got his first chance in attack. Cross from Ramaker. Connolly's into the back line. The pass was suspect. The whistle sounds, and he's got him for a deliberate forward pass.
About a metre now, mate.
Unfortunate there for the rest of the world, because they're playing pretty well, throwing the ball around. I thought the inflection, Ray, was because he remembers he got money off you at Alice Springs in the golf course. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
9-9 you hit? It was a 6 sign.
Johns now for the line on the far side, the Ron McCall stand side. Australia with Carroll. And Dean Pay getting ready for his first effort of the night. This is Billy Moore. And from Tuvey for Johns. Long pass, cutting out a couple. Fittler away. And here's Terry Hill Terry Hill not held there in the tackle by Howlett. He did a good job in cleaning up earlier, Howlett, but he fell off in the tackle there. He's playing on the right in defence as Fittler puts together an angle with Larson before Menzies is put down frustratingly for him on the 20-metre line. He doesn't get as many opportunities these days, Steve. His record goes before him. Now, McGregor puts that big left hand out, tries to fend away from O'Reilly, who's working doggedly in defence. O'Reilly, he's been made to miss a couple of times, but he's working more for Johns. The kick, first try of the kick for the Australians. Up goes the jump. Brasher doesn't come down with it. Robinson's with it.
He's a super player, this Jason Robinson. I can't sing his praises loudly and often enough. He came in and made a very important tackle on Menzies early on, only 2 rucks ago, and this time in a very awkward position with Brasher coming through, he was able to pluck the ball out of the air and defuse the bomb.
Marcus Bai, and now for Lowry. Done some confident things, Jason Lowry. Carroll is off, Pay is on, as Jackson scampers from dummy half. Newcastle hooker. I see they've named Brett Clements in their run-on side for the South Sydney game on Sunday as they find the line. We'll take a break. 13 and a half gone. 0-0 between the world and Australia. Craig Smith has gone on as we welcome you back. And Jason Lowry has come from the field as Australia take it almost back to the halfway line for Tuvey. Working it on the right, and Billy Moore combining as the receiver. Fittler losing it. O'Reilly is there to pick it up, and McGregor puts him away in defence. That is Craig Smith, who played Origin for Paul and for Queensland. Now, can they crack this line? Tangata Toa, the St George player, representative of Tonga in this match. Smith again.
He's a good player too, Craig Smith. Played pretty well for Queensland in the series. He got knocked out in the 3rd game, but he had an absolute blinder for Illawarra against North Sydney last Sunday. Got the man of the match down there.
Last tackle coming. And Adrian Lamb's kick is high. It's given the Chasers a good run, a good chance, but Brasher, when you're dealing with him, you're dealing with the world's best. Steve Roach on the sidelines. I'm led to believe that Tom O'Reilly has caught your eye a couple of times already.
Yeah, it's been a good start for him, considering you're talking about the difference in class. Last year he was in the Queensland resident side on the wing, then went to the Gold Coast, and now he's in the rest of the world team. So big jump for that player.
Talking of the rest of the world match, Steve, in '88, who were the props for Australia?
Me and Sam Bacco. We won 22-10. Good luck.
22-10 with Bacco and Roach. The bookends. Who was between you? Thank you.
I can't remember. I think Roy Simmons.
Here is Johns now. Oh, it's just out. Well, Jeff Tuvey's put the appealing hands out, but the touchy's got it right.
I think it was Greg Kinescu actually blocked
the turtle.
Yeah, bravo. The students of rugby league have got all the stats in the world up here, Blocker. Don't you worry about that. Now it's the world side with the 14. Smith. Kosef preparing to come on. Nahi is on for Tangata Toa as the coaches use their replacement personnel. Jackson. We did the match at Marathon the other night. I made the comment that Jackson looked a bit like the Lee Jackson of old. He's done a couple of things here tonight that have been earmarked with the same characteristics, and that's fair play.
Very good tackle there from Terry Hill.
He's got problems though.
Yeah, Jason Robinson did well to catch the football from Gary Connolly. It was a tough pass to take, and Terry Hill put him down and kept the momentum going to put him into touch to allow the scrum to be set and no penalty awarded. Here's Connolly coming across, trying to open something up on the outside. Robinson juggles. Gets taken by Hill, which is though the tackle could have stopped there, but he kept going, Terry, to throw him out, and he is in some degree of difficulty down there on the 20-metre line.
The Australian number 5, Robbie O'Davis. A lot of conjecture over whether he should have in fact been in the number 1 shirt. Personally, I thought he deserved it following his Origin performances.
Well, that's Matt Singh, who's just come on for Terry Hill there. You can see Terry leaving with a cut around the chin area. And Matt Singh straight into the action.
Harrigan is off. Kosef is now on the park, which only presents more problems for the world side. Another adroit ball player. Loves to have the football in his hands. Now they come across for Johns, and they link up with Menzies. Menzies thinking about unloading, but Howlett was there, strong in defence. McCracken across late. And then from Kosef, through from Johns, for Brasher. To the air. High ball, there's a couple of Aussies well and truly offside. This fellow's not, though. The man that batted it back down. It's gone away now for McGregor. And McGregor held on the 20-metre line. That's the turnover.
What a great tackle by Connolly. Just the way he grabbed McGregor and then sort of wrapped himself around the football so McGregor couldn't get in the way. Good stuff there from Gary Connolly.
It was an interesting ruling there by David Manson. I don't want to bog down on it, but Brasher, he didn't kick that football, did he? Did he? Was he the kicker? Because he's the only one that can put you onside.
Well, he put himself onside.
Absolutely right.
Well, Gary Connolly would have been happy if Marcus Bai had caught the football. Might have made things a little bit easier as Nahi offloads. Craig Smith gets a good ball away. Adrian Lamb, that's been knocked
Here's
down.
danger, Peter. The kick ahead. The Australians will score, will it? No, Manson's called it back.
It was a knock on by the Australian player, surely, as Adrian Lamb was trying to get the ball away. Trying to keep the football alive. Nahi on to Craig Smith. I think you'll find that this pass from Adrian Lamb touched the hand of the number 14, Mark Coyne. And that's why we'll see the world feeding this scrum.
So 35 out from their own line. They've held them scoreless for a quarter of the game. Connolly coming in, taking that first play, and this is Craig Smith, and again he's got the Australians for offside.
Well, those penalties are really mounting the rest of the world's way. Good run here from Craig Smith, gets to the advantage line, gets going, the defence doesn't come up.
Jackson. And this is Howard. 35 metres away from the Australian line. This is Nahi. Gold Coast with a strong representation. Ramaka from Jackson to Lamb. And O'Reilly trying to put McCracken up the middle. The big second rower getting out wider to the 20-metre line. This is Howard one more time. Johns underneath. Larson the top. They're 10 metres away from the line. Now this is their last tackle. And Lamb goes across. Beautifully placed. It's come down off the Australians. And it's play on with 6 more. And it will be Smith who'll be made to play the ball. 12 metres out, back where they started from, but the important thing is they've got 5 more tackles. And again the ball goes loose. And again he's ruled 6 more tackles. Manson seen there, the top right-hand corner. Robinson going right across the park to the 20-metre line, not put away. Connolly, he has a go, but Menzies and Kosef are there to put him down. Then for Lamb to come back in and put a fairly long ball away for O'Reilly, but Johns came up out of the line and snapped the legs from under him. Innes, Ramaka heading for the ground, got it away. Jackson's pass, O'Reilly was there, Lamb is there, Smith is supporting, and he's wrestled down by Brasher. 7 out from the line. The Australians really put to the test here. Now Ramaka rolls it in. Innes is after it. Oh, Matt Singh just got a hand to it. in front of Marcus Bai.
A nice piece of skill there from the rest of the world team. It's Ramika. They had to turn the Aussies, but seeing he's done this 100 million times in his career, saving tries like that, he's done it plenty for Queensland, now doing it for Australia.
He was cursed with a bad bounce there, wasn't he, Matt Singh, and threw the left arm out just in front of Marcus Bai. Gary Larson leaves the field. A lot of people said they were disappointed with Steve Menzies' efforts in State of Origin. I'll tell you what, I was not one of those people. Defensively, he's as good a player as there is in the game. He might not have got the running opportunities that we are used to seeing him get, but some of the hits tonight front on, again, just illustrate the fact that he's as good a defender as he is with the football in his hands.
So just outside the Australian 20-metre line from Jackson for Lamb. Now O'Reilly back inside the 30 metres. McCracken, he broke the tackle of Fittler, but he was pulled down by Mark Coyne. O'Reilly working something with Lamb. Lamb throwing dummies and still going. The number 7, the captain, he has set this up. He's over. I think it's Ramika. Ramika's over to score. Adrian Lamb, he has bedazzled them. The world leading Australia 4-0 with the kick to come.
And no surprise to see that Adrian Lamb is the catalyst once again. A little bit of interplay amongst the forwards. Then Adrian Lamb, he throws one dummy. There's 2, there's 3. Gets in behind, pushes McGregor off, steps back inside, throws another one. That's 4 dummies. Finally passes, and this is a good effort here to spin around and get the football down. It looked tremendous from front on here. Adrian Lamb not putting it on a platter, but he really did make things easy for the try scorer in the end.
Well, how good is he? Look, he's just pushing him out of the way. He's got the ball on a string. They hung off him. And it's Ramika, who does so well to get the try as well, spinning there. But put it down to Adrian Lamb. He's the man.
So, a bit of a turn up for the books. A long time to go, of course, but the try has come 25 minutes into the game for Darren Ramika. Tackle count's interesting. Let's document it. 89 tackles for Australia, 57 for the world. And the penalty count when the try came, 4-1 to the world. They lead 4-0. Craig Innes has missed it. So we'll go to a break at the 24th with the world side in front. Welcome back with John Simon making his Test debut and taking the place of Andrew Johns as Craig Smith unloads the ball.
I don't know about unload.
Well, when I say unload, it was certainly the result of a high shot.
I do not get him out of trouble. I do not.
Brad Fittler, he is livid with the decision.
Just the arm came my way.
Paul McGregor, the man who was penalised earlier.
No,
Both the Australian players bemused by the decision.
I don't want to swing an arm in there. Paul,
Swinging arm from McGregor, as you can see from the signal there. Craig Smith, he didn't slow down when he got to the line. And gee, it didn't look to be too much in it.
Well, Manson has told McGregor he doesn't want his arm anywhere near the neck shoulder area, but McGregor laughed at the referee really, and looking at the replay, well, he might.
Yeah, so he should. That was an awful decision. 5-1
the penalties, and Australia really doing it tough with this tackle count, about 33.33% heavier against them.
Well, a good break for them here as Terry Hill looks to come back into the action. Lee Jackson makes a good dart out, gets knocked down. A pretty solid hit from Mark Carroll. Tries to get up, puts the football down, and is ruled to have lost it, knocked on.
Matt Sen coming off, Terry Hill back on. What's the story with him, Steve? Come back in a moment. Tuvey across the ground to the 25-metre point. Yes, big fella.
Yeah, he got a bad cut on the chin, so he just went in and got a couple of stitches. But I've got to give a rap to Chris Nahi. Gee, he's going well. He's a Gold Coast player too, but not afraid to take the ball forward. Try and tell him this game doesn't mean anything.
Fittler angling Harrigan back. Harrigan able to offload. Carroll is back on as well. Now Kosef, the ball down for Moore. Able to put it away. Simon was there. Simon trying to step his way through, pulled down 12 metres out. But Australia trailing 4-0. Now they get a very good opportunity as Kosef unloads a long pass back behind the 20-metre line as Harrigan. Then around the corner pass as he takes on 2 defenders. Brasher puts on a sprint, comes across the ground, runs to Terry Hill. He runs to the opposition. Howlett makes the tackle. And then put down is Robbie O'Davis. 10 metres out from the line. Then Tuvey. Now Larson. Larson taking it back towards the centre of the ground. 5 tackles and 5 metres out as Tuvey goes across for Fittler's kick, and Menzies couldn't quite get it, could he? Manson's deliberating with the in-goal judge, and it is a knock-on. Well, Menzies thought he got downward pressure on it. I've got to say, from here, I thought he failed to grasp it.
Would have been the try of the century. Plan move, good set play. He's got to it.
Oh, gee. Visions of Dennis Ward, Graham Langlands. This one, I think that's a try. I think he's caught it, put it down, and then as he put the football down, as he's put downward pressure, it's popped up.
I think the replay has told that story quite definitely. But before we run off with criticism of the referee, the in-goal judge had the call. Manson asked him for the final opinion, and I've got to tell you, with the naked eye, I certainly had a big question mark on it. But looking at the replay, is it any wonder Steve Menzies thinks that he's been robbed? Hermanson's pass is in no man's land, and Craig Smith is left to contend with Brad Fittler, who I might say has been doing a lot of heavy defence tonight, Brad Fittler. Does that indicate that somebody is not? Lamb. His kick going down to find the line 10 metres away from the Australian try line.
Everything going the rest of the world's way at the moment. The penalty count, the tackles. They're playing good football as well, and a couple of decisions going for them. But I just think it's a matter of Australia getting 50% of the football. And already Bob Fulton would have seen there's a weakness down the right-hand side of the rest of the world defence. He'll aim plenty of attack down there, and I think, you know, obviously they're going to score a few tries as soon as he gets some ball.
Jason Lowry coming back on as we reach the 30-minute mark. The World with a try by Ramika, leading 4-0. The try coming at the 23rd minute officially. Now, play the ball that went quite wrong. Tuvey eventually unloading for Brasher to try and clear the danger zone. They're on their own 20-metre line as McGregor gives Carroll another run. Tuvey. And Harrigan been able to offload, I think, every time he's handled the ball. Harrigan has taken a couple of defence men in with him and able to pop the pass. Now for Kosef. They're approaching the halfway line with Larson. The fend is on, but the tackle has been made by Tanga Datoa and the number 12, the Jared McCracken. And then the kick from John Simon. Will it find that dead ball line? It does. So back to the 20-metre line for the restart. Quite a deep in goal at Suncorp, the old Lang Park, as it probably is better known.
I think the rest of the world are being well served by the ball going out, as we've seen on that occasion. Adrian Lamb, when he kicks, finding touch. I really don't think they want to take Australia on in broken play. The more set chances they get against them, I think they're going to be more confident in their defence against that. And they lead as we come into the final 10 minutes of this first half.
Hermanson with a bumping run. Back for Lamb to unload. That's Nahi. On the 40-metre line, Fittler and Menzies combining to make the tackle. Now Tanga Datoa. Representative of the St George Club. And of course, as I said earlier, representing Tonga. Ball down. And referee Manson ruling 6 more tackles. So obviously didn't feel there was a knock on. Hermanson is with it. Just outside the 40-metre line. A little scurry away by Robinson, but they can lead to anything. They might look minute, but this fellow Robinson can turn something quite big out from something quite little. Lowry. And the ball has been propelled forward. They're going to take a break here. We'll take one with them at the 31st. 4-0 the world over Australia. Welcome back. At Suncorp. Kosef. Simon. And Larson. Carroll leaving the field again. And then Fittler thinking about switching the point of the attack. Menzies. Knock on, advantage applies. Jackson through for Innes, and now for Bai. Got a pass in. And it's O'Reilly just outside the Australian 40-metre line. Jackson then providing on the right for Lamb to go across, and McCracken is out there. Nothing presenting itself though. The Australian defence, though it's been tested, has been broken just that once by really Adrian Lamb. Other than that, it's remained solid. Mark Coyne ran on for Brett Dallas, not playing, and Matt Singh rushed across to the sidelines.
Well, the one thing Australia have been unable to do is to get together some strings of sixes in a row. I think if they can do that before half-time, they'll run in some points here. Quite flat at the moment, but really they haven't had any quality possession.
This is Harrigan stepping away. Here comes the try that will equalise. Brash up under the posts. 4 points all. Harrigan's been threatening. Every time he's handled the football, he's drawn the defence and unloaded. And Brasher, of course, when he sees space, he's away. Nobody stops him.
Yeah, he's been Australia's best tonight, Paul Harrigan. And we've pointed out on so many occasions when he offloads, he is such a better player. He's a good meters man, he runs hard, takes the defence on, but when he can get some second phase work going, he's absolutely magnificent. That was a very bad miss there from Jason Lowry. Never got his arms around the player at all, just went for the shoulder charge. And Tim Brasher, he sniffs anything out. Anything up the middle of the ruck, you can be sure the fullback will be trailing.
So Brasher with the one-handed put down, but it was Harrigan's try. I mean, when you look at it realistically, there's been the 2 tries. That was Harrigan's. The other one was Adrian Lamb's. And this will be converted from right in front of the uprights by John Simon.
I've got no doubt that'll lift Australia. They've been playing all right, but I think they've had a lack of enthusiasm there, and that should surely lift them.
The Origin hero. The only member of the Australian side on debut. Or does that also apply to Matt Singh? I'm just trying to think about that. But Simon definitely. And from right in front, 10 metres out, he raises the flags. And Australia put their nose in front. This is how the try came. Fittler was the man that started it. Harrigan ran the angle and bumped through Lowry's tackle and then provided so sweetly, and Brasher's over to score.
Yeah, lovely shot there, wasn't it? You could see as Harrigan went through, Tim Brasher screaming out, just giving Harrigan an idea of where he was going to loom up. And it was just up to the Chief then to get the one arm free and pop it in front of the fullback.
So, as we approach the half-time break, 2 points the margin. Remembering that the world led 4-0 from the 23rd to the 33rd. And now have succumbed to the Australian class and trail 6 points to 4 with Larson under some heavy pressure. Kosef. And the order has come for Matt Singh to go on and Coyne to come off. The Australians wedge the play up to the halfway line through Billy Moore. Plenty of players now up, clapping the hands, wanting the ball, wanting a little taste. Pay for McGregor. And 35 metres from the rest of the world line, where Johns goes high into the air. And I've got my doubts on Robbie O'Davis's performance there, whether in fact he had any intention of playing the football.
Yeah, it looked like he just took Jason Robinson out. Not a bad kick. Not much reaction from the rest of the world players. No one's getting back really to help Robinson. And O'Davis just creamed him.
Well, they should have brought a penalty, but I suppose when you look at it, they've had a fair go in the penalty department. One of their main aides has been the referee, really. 5-1 the penalties to the world side. And now they're faced with the prospect of 80 metres to the other end of the ground for more points prior to the break, which 2.5 minutes away. Played by the centre, Howlett. And this is Tangatatoa, just inside his own 30-metre line as Moore and McGregor do the cleaning up. Jackson away for his captain to turn in, and Hermansen flicks it out the back and just hopes for the best. Howlett is there, and Harrigan is there with Johns to pull him down.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous play from Hermansen. We've got 2 minutes out from half-time. He's just flicked the ball out to nobody. And the best result would have been maybe picking up a couple of metres. Jackson kicks it down. Robbie O'Davis takes it on the first bounce. Sunday tackle Tangatatoa. Could have been a penalty there. He did hit him high.
Using the McGregor barometer, I thought it would have been a penalty. Terry Hill is on the halfway line. Suffered injury earlier. Seems quite okay. Quite fully recovered. Fitless pass. Look at it. So precise and with such ease. And Johns is put away on the 40-metre line. Now Tuvey going across for his captain, answering the call. Harrigan, there he goes again. He's having a fabulous night, Paul Harrigan. And the kick down for Jason Robinson. Robinson, not frightened to go across, looking for a gap.
Yeah, he's just going across looking for someone to sprint out of the line in defence and leave a hole for him, but I noticed that O'Davis has gone back to fullback and Brasher onto the wing, so Fulton twitching his players around, looking for the right combination.
Malcolm really leaves his coach's perch right in front of us. And he'd be, I would imagine, full of praise when he talks to his team. They would have trained together probably 4 times. As Gary Connolly is put away, about 35 out from the Australian line on tackle 5, and 6-4 Australia. As Lamb's kick looks for Robinson. Oh, he almost got clean ball. They still might score. They will score. The Krakens into the corner. The world will go to half-time, leading by 8 points to 6 at least.
Jared McCracken there on the end of a lucky bounce from Jason Robinson's chest. The kick was a beauty. The timing of the run was superb. And if there was a lack of urgency from the rest of the world moments ago, as Paul pointed out, the same applies here for the Australian team. Really, there was only 2 players back there and no great desire from a lot of players to get back in case something like this happened. Robinson couldn't take it. Tangatatoa was there, and he gets a good ball away to McCracken, who changes direction to get around Tim Brasher.
Yeah, it looked like the ball definitely went back there off Robinson, so it's all fair enough, and no Australians within Cooey, except for Brasher, who couldn't match it with McCracken, who I think has been a very good player for the rest of the world in the first half. He's taken the ball up strongly, made some very strong tackles as well. He's playing well.
Playing, in fact, in his 13th international, Jared McCracken. 12 test matches for his native New Zealand. And 13 racked up by him tonight for the world side. And celebrating with a try. A revigorated Jared McCracken. Helicopter pilot, amongst other things, hotelier, and having a big season with the Parramatta club. From the 20-metre line, Innes has got the kick away beautifully, but it was well short. Looked good, but well short. The half-time break is there. Rest of the world with 2 tries to 1, leading by 2 points at half-time at Suncorp. We'll take a break and be back with the second half action in just a moment. Brad Fittler brings the Australians out for the second half now of the match against rest of the world. Trailing by 2 points And I don't know that their coach would have been all that happy, although he would also be mindful that the penalty count has been slanted heavily against them and the tackle count likewise. I think it'll be a very much different Australian side in this second stanza.
No doubt about that, Ray, and there are the statistics that heavily favour the world side. An enormous amount of possession. You can see they've had 8 uses of the football more than their opponents. We still see more line breaks for the Australian. That's not surprising. And as you pointed out, the penalty count 5-1. So really, if the rest of the world side couldn't be competitive with all those things in their favour, they were always in for a very tough night.
As I mentioned, this is the third time the Australian Rugby League has conducted a match such as this. And the Australians won in 57 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 2011 it was, and then the next time they played was 88. And at the Sydney Football Stadium they won 22 points to 10. Ramaka got one, McCracken got the other. And Brasher scored the try for Australia. 8-6.
Ready? Right. Stay on side.
As the world side takes us into the second half. And bringing it back, Jeff Tuvey, straight through. Will that set the standard? Robbie O'Davis, almost to the 40-metre point. And now it's with Larson sliding it out the back. Tuvey, and then Moore. And he's been banged down by Ramaka and Lowry. Carroll this time is on the 40-metre line. For Tuvey. Finding Johns, stepping, flicking it back. Bad pass, but eventually it's picked up by Tuvey. And the Australian number 7 to the 20-metre line. Put away by Connolly. And the last tackle is with Johns, who kicks looking for McGregor. Marcus Bai has been tackled in goal. I don't know that he let that bounce, or in fact that the ball was too far away from him.
It was a great set of 6 from Australia to start this second stanza. Jeff Tuvey busted them from the kick-off, ducked under another tackle 3 rucks later to do the same thing. And Bai, he got the good bounce there, but he didn't panic in a tough situation. He just waited for the ball to pop up. This is something we didn't see in the first half. Australia able to string together possession.
Ramaka with the line drop out, also taking the kicks for line. And Carroll with a vigorous run is 26 metres away from the line. Tuvey prominent in the early part of the second half. Billy Moore to the right. Down the blind side comes Harrigan. Set up the first try for the Australians, the only try for Brasher. Tuvey then for Johns. Now for Fittler. Danger here. Terry Hill. Couple of metres short. Desperation tackling out wide by the world side. Fittler then, held by Tangadatoa and McCracken. Hill sweeping it on for Brasher. And a little kick ahead by Brasher will be fielded by Jason Robinson. And it's another line drop out, so real pressure for the world side.
Well, having seen those 2 sets of 6 by Australia, they're going to win this and win it quite well. Under sufferance already, the rest of the world team. And as soon as they start to click together, the Australians, they'll just run in try for try.
You'd think they'd have to score in this set of 6. Connolly did well to get Tuvey. Strong tackle from Tangadatoa on Fittler. Crack starting to appear. Bob Fulton might have had plenty of stern words to say to his side at the break.
Gary Larson on the kick return from under the uprights. And again, Harrigan prominent, leading the forward charge, giving more opportunities to his backs than any other forward. Johns away for Moore. 5 metres out from the line now. And if they can hold out, it'll be 18 in a row. Menzies. Fittler finds himself at acting half. And Carroll tries to ramrod his way across. 5 gone. The defence has been sound. Long ball. Johns. Cut out ball. The winger. Oh, freakish. Acrobatic. Brasher gets his second. What about, was that O'Davis? Or was it was O'Davis all right. What he did here is quite incredible.
I'm still not quite sure what he did. Jason Robinson comes flying in off his wing. He's the farthest player for the world side. The cutout pass. O'Davis takes it and gets a ball back inside. That's just absolutely sensational stuff from a player playing at the top of his confidence.
2 of the best passes you'd ever want to see. First from Fittler, then from Andrew Johns. And, well, 3 of the best. That topped them both. Robbie O'Davis falling down and just flicked it back inside. Marvellous stuff.
Brasher picks up the second Australian try simply by being there at the right time. He was there for Paul Harrigan. The Sheriff passing a message on to Brasher. Smile comes across their faces. But, oh, Robbie O'Davis. Of course, let's not forget Andrew Johns. His pass was magnificent. But O'Davis at one point looked like head-butting the corner post. And then he's been able to flick a pass back for Brasher to put it over the line. Lovely stuff. And Australia back in front, 10-8, with Johns now from the sideline. And online at the moment, but it won't have the length. So, 2 points the margin again, but now on the right side of the ledger. And that's the pass.
This has been building up because of the little kicks in goal, sort of the line dropouts, giving Australia more possession. And Robbie O'Davis, good to see him get a run at fullback in the first half. We deserved that. It's been a battle royale between Brasher and O'Davis this season.
So Steve Roach on the sidelines. We didn't quite get to you for your half-time report before a try has been posted by the Australians.
Well, for Australia, they said keep attacking the rest of the world's right defence. Howlett is missing plenty of tackles there. More pressure on Lamb, whether he's running the football or kicking. He wants to see the markers chase a little bit better there. He said to his Australian side, Bob Fulton, that we will get a lot more football in the second half. I want you to put on some repeat sets, and our kicking game must improve. Well, for the rest of the world, Malcolm really praised their scramble defence. He said we've got to do more of that scrambling in the second half and get numbers there. We need to get second phase going, and that's the only way that we will cause problem to the Australian defence. He said keep putting pressure on them in defence. We are forcing some errors.
This is Bai returning the kick from Fittler, pursued by Menzies in vain. Robinson, 10 points to 8. 47th minute. With us now, one of the 2 Wigan players, Gary Connolly, plays it just beyond the 25-metre point. And what's he going to do here? Tanga Datoa, he says, has lost it, and will put a scrum down, which will see the Australians almost immediately going back onto the attack.
They got away with a sneaky little one there. Terry Hill, hand was in there. He looked as surprised as anybody else when the ball went free. I think he had a bit of an inkling.
This is Terry Hill. Fittler just hanging back, waiting to put something together. Billy Moore. Johns is in at first receiver on the left as Tooby runs towards him. Johns comes back for Moore. Ball loose. Did they get a touch on it? Not according to the referee. Brasher raking the ball back. There's Harrigan again. Moore. 6 more tackles now indicated. Fittler. Johns angling back towards the centre. Terrible pass. Billy Moore had to go back a couple of metres. It took all the sting out of it. There they are, just outside the 20-metre point. As Larson tries to get the ship righted. Close to the 10-metre line, but they haven't threatened on the last 4 or 5 tackles. Menzies now succumbs to a tackle just inside the 10. They've got it where they want it. And Tuvey goes from dummy half himself. Groan suggesting the world side was thinking of a Shepherd. Billy Moore away for Johns. He puts a grubbing kick in, and Marcus Bai comes out of the in goal to save a tricky situation. This is O'Reilly.
He doesn't look out of his depth out there tonight, Marcus Bai. Andrew Johns putting it in behind Craig Guinness. And again, he was in the right spot at the right time. He has got some good bounces, but he's taken advantage of them. And now the other winger, Jason Robinson, flicks the ball up. Lee Jackson, gets pounded by Carroll Menzies.
So Adrian Lamb, realising they've been down that end of the park for far too long, takes the easy option, and that is the best option, to get way back down the other end of the ground. And Brasher was on the end of a very good chase from Phil Howlett, and Howlett again is there cleaning up on O'Davis. Terry Hill using Mark Coyne, and now Tuvey. 10 points to 8. 2 tries apiece, and Australia's second try coming just a little while back, and again scored by Tim Brasher as McGregor plays it. Now Dean Pay tries to step off that left foot and beat the forward defence. The last, as Fittler gracefully puts that ball down the ground. It'll be returned by Marcus Bai. Robinson almost inviting them to come up out of the line and present him with that inch of ground that he needs. Problem there for Nahi, Chris Nahi. Hermanson. Now O'Reilly. Just inside the 40. And back for Connolly's kick. Hasn't got a lot of volume about it, but it may turn out okay for them. It has. Now Robinson would be aware that they've got 6 more tackles, and they frittered that away. So that was really stupid. Billy Moore back to the 20-metre line. As the Australians prepare John Simon and Nick Kosef to come on. Willie McLean, he has gone on for Marcus Bai. What a season it's been for McLean. I think he's only had the one first-grade game with the Bears, and now finds himself in international colours. Billy Moore escorted from the park as Fittler runs away from the 40-metre line. His floating pass has come off the legs of Kosef, and Coyne is slammed down, and that's the turnover.
I think this game will do some of these rest of the world players the world of good. Even Phil Howlett, he'll go back to South Sydney a better player for this experience, playing against this very good Australian Test team. He's done some very good things in the game. Defensively, he's made a couple of mistakes, but he's made some very good tackles as well. Players like he and Tom O'Reilly, they'll improve from this.
Ramaka, Jackson. That is Howlett. Australia have got a player down injured. It's Jeff Tuvey. And once again, Howlett finds himself in possession. Tuvey getting some assistance out there. as it comes away from O'Reilly. The pass was good, but McGregor was right up in the face of Innes. He's commanding a lot of respect, Craig Innes. One of the best defensive centres in the world. Australia easily returning the kick with O'Davis in possession.
And Geoff Toovey leaves the field, and Brad Fittler really did a job on Jason Robinson there. Got in the way of Robinson in his attempted chase, and that made the catch so much easier. It's Menzies. Once Nick Kosef from the short side. Looks like a sternum problem for Geoff Toovey. He's clutching his chest as he leaves.
Larson just out from the 30-metre line. Simon across for pay. As Geoff Toovey is escorted up the tunnel. He was clutching at his, I thought, at his chest, around the sternum area. Couldn't happen on a worse day, really, for Geoff, as I pointed out earlier. His wife having a baby today. He flew back to Sydney for that. And let's hope that it's not too serious, whatever's wrong with Geoff Toovey. We'll try and get a report from Steve on the sidelines, just to put people's mind at rest. Terry Hermanson on the halfway line. Still only 2 points behind. Tangata-Toa. Menzies underneath. Simon the top. Australia have had the better of the second half. They've had more ball probably to work with in the opening 15 minutes of this half than they saw for the entire first half. Jackson's kick. Nicely placed. Brasher's back into the field of play without much trouble. 17 making the tackle was Willie McLean. Now it's Mark Coyne. And he's been pushed back down, so David Manson will give the Australians a penalty. Coyne trying to get up and play it, but was given an extra hand to stay down by Harvey Howard.
Looks as though John Simon will play the dummy half role that Toovey was playing, and John's still playing halfback.
Halfway line, about 5 metres down the ground as Pay unloads for McGregor. Nobody was obstructed there. There was, again, somebody refereeing from the stands, but there wasn't a defence man obstructed by the Australian running around behind those two players. Here's Harrigan unloading for the umpteenth time, and Brasher, he knows a good thing when you're onto it. Timmy, he's worked it out very quickly. Wherever Harrigan goes, I'm going with you. Now Johns putting Harrigan back down the ground. There he is again. Outstanding effort by Harrigan. McGregor does something similar. And now Simon put away, 11 metres away from the line. Johns' pass wasn't all that accurate. Fittler, a dummy for Menzies, goes out for Hill. Not Hill, he'll go over. Yes! Terry Hill over to score, Australia's third try.
And unfortunately, Phil Howlett was the man who just came up with a one-on-one miss. Two very, very damaging centres out there for Australia tonight in Paul McGregor. He did the work on this side of the field. And Terry Hill, who's limping back after scoring that four-pointer, just had too much strength for Phil Howlett. Problem there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen for Tim Brasher. He wasn't involved in the play at all. Brad Fittler, the dummy inside. Howlett goes in low. He drops the hit, Terry Hill, and Jason Robinson unable to stop him from reaching out to score.
Well, they were outnumbered, and they slid well, and eventually it came down to a one-on-one situation, and that's a tackle that just had to be made, and Howlett wasn't up to it on that occasion. But you know, Hill's a very strong runner. He uses his hips well when he gets to the defensive line and bangs them out of the way. He did it on that occasion.
Well, beautiful stuff from this side of the field, wasn't it? A couple of rucks before. Harrigan again initiating it with an offload. Some good quick hands. Paul McGregor getting the arm over the top, keeping the ball alive back on the inside. Been a great battle out there between McGregor and Craig Innes.
That's the sixth international try for Terry Hill, as Andrew Johns from the 10-metre line in from that side of the ground, 20 metres out, and that kick has got more capacity about it. So Australia, they lead 16-8 after 58 minutes. We'll be back in just a moment. back at Suncorp in front of a fairly good crowd here tonight. In fact, quite a surprising crowd. I must admit I thought they would attract only small numbers, but there's more here than I thought this match might have brought into Suncorp. As Simon plays it just inside his 30-metre line. This is Larson now. Steve Roach, a report on Jeff Tuvey.
Yeah, rib cartilage damage to Jeff Tuvey. Very painful. He's in a lot of pain at the moment. I don't know whether he'll be back. The doc's going to give him 5 or 10 minutes. And also Nahi, for the rest of the world side, has a damaged shoulder, but he'll be all right.
Have you seen Harrigan play any better?
Well, mate, he's getting better with age, isn't he? I mean, he's got plenty of experience. He's really the leader in the pack now, but his offloading skills tonight have been outstanding.
It's Dean play now on the 30-metre line. Australia, I guess it's a moment of decision here, Paul Vaughton, whether they really extend this into a big win or the rest of the world are able to hang in. Gary Connolly had a look at the field of play and then is forced back, and it is a line dropout.
Well, by the looks of that defence, they want to extend this into a big win. I think they will now. They'll go right on with this. The rest of the world, to me, look as though they're on their last legs. Their enthusiasm has been dampened somewhat with those couple of Australian tries. They're not running as hard as they were. There's no sting in their defence. Oh, I reckon they're gone.
This will be the third line dropout for the world side in the second half, typifying the pressure that's been mounted by the Australians in a resurrected performance. Really, there was just some signs of lethargy. They realised the tackle count and the penalty count was heavily against them, but there was just a couple of slack areas in the first half. That seems to have been righted, and they are the team now really calling the tune, putting the pressure on. The chase on the kick is very strong, and a lot of players in motion as Simon takes it ahead and is held there by Nahi, just 3 metres from the line for Johns, and Fittler's able to scout wider as a result of that man being in the team, Johns. Davis got involved. Tay is with the ball. 15 is Simon. Away from Connolly. Hill is going for the corner and then put down over there by Matt Singh. Adrian Lamb calls to the referee, what about 6 more? But of course he was talking about when does the tackle count start.
Well, if the Australian side are allowed to keep the ball alive, as we've seen in the last couple of minutes, then there are plenty more points coming their way. I just think that the athleticism has gone out of this rest of the world forward pack. Both Lowry and Hermanson, I think they've worked themselves to a standstill. Not too much left there. Harvey Howard, well, that's a great charge from him. But they're just having a lot of trouble coping now with the angled runners of this Australian team.
Lamb, about 7 metres on his own side of the halfway. Jackson kicking from down half. The kick going straight to Singh. And Connolly is up there with Jackson to end the young Australian's run.
Well, I noticed it looks like Connolly is playing in the centres and Willie McLean has gone back to fullback. So Phil Howlett is having a rest from that right-hand centre position.
Kelly Hill. Met and pulled down by Lee Jackson. Kosef to the right. Carroll loses it. Advantage. And then from Smith along the ground. And that is Innes with McCracken about to come back on. By across the halfway line. The rest of the world trailing by 8 points. Now for Craig Smith again. Nice offload. From Robinson. Lamb. Tanga Totoa. Lamb on a run-around mission. O'Reilly comes in. Innes is with it. By offers him a support on the inside, but he was under too much pressure. McGregor was there with Coyne making life uncomfortable. O'Reilly, and there's been a knock on at the dummy. Members of the press brigade at half-time were quite alarmed when we called that second try for Australia. For the rest of the world, we said the world is over. They come running in to check if that was in fact the case. Sorry for alarming the members of the press corps. If it has ended, it's not bad life, is it, up here?
Not a lot different, Ray.
There's still a race meeting tomorrow, isn't there?
A race meeting, and this second half of footy, there won't be a drop ball.
Coyne. Harrigan has come off. Gary Larson's gone back on. As Kosev gives it back for Larson. And three of the... Oh, Gary cocked the right and then put it away. Billy Moore taken down by Ramaka. And his second row partner, McCracken, who scored that try I'm talking about right on half-time. And Johns floating across the park.
Get him down.
And it's a penalty for a high tackle on Gary Connolly this time.
Well,
Gary Connolly's shaking his head now. Some of these high tackles. It looked like Craig Smith it was who went a fraction high. He's played pretty well too since he's been on. But, you know, thank the Lord for this rest of the world team, for Gary Connolly and Jason Robinson. They've been their two best players, that's for sure.
So that's the field position for the Australians following the line finder. Carroll, 3 or 4 metres out. That's the line. Simon, he'll have a shot for it himself. The defence able to force him back. And now from Billy Moore. Johns with a long ball, finding his captain, inside for Menzies. Seldom the match goes past, but he doesn't pick up a try. He casts a shoe as he puts it over the line. Menzies for Australia.
Well, he loves the inside passes, Steve Menzies. You see him do it time and time again at Manly off Cliff Lyons. Now it's off Brad Fittler. And the defence is there. It's just a one-on-one missed tackle again. Willie McLean it was who'd come up into the line. And some poor defence. It's really been their problem. Once Australia got some football, it was always going to be their problem. And they've had most of the football here beautifully put on by Brad Fittler. Menzies throws a shoe. Get the Farrier out there quick.
Oh, it is good up here, isn't it? 12 test tries for Steve Menzies. There'll be plenty more coming his way. Fairly worried looking, Jeff Tuvey, and as Steve Roach pointed out, rib cartilage damage. It is very painful and it takes a long time to get over. So I'm sure that Bob Fulton shares that concern with his star Manly halfback.
Andrew Johns provides the extras, which have been few and far between. Australia extend their lead, 22 points to 8 after 67. Back at Suncorp with that scoreboard for you, 22 to 8. And for people that might have joined us only in the second half, you're probably thinking this match has gone very much as predicted. But they were trailing by 2 points at half-time, the Australians. And it was a very intense and concentrated effort by the world side to the break. But then the Australians, they put their mind on the job and they've now raced to this 22 points to 8 lead. Just repeating that Brett Dallas wasn't able to play. Mark Coyne was in the run-on side. Matt Singh on the bench. Jeff Tuvey making it back to Brisbane in time to play. As Fittler goes across and Kosev is there. Menzies is there. Gets away from Tangatoa, but the ball has gone down for Gary Connolly. And 32 metres out from the line. He'll play it back for Jackson. Now Lamb, and back on the inside, that is Hermanson, inside the 30-metre line. Jackson takes the marker out, but then he gave a forward pass, I fancy. I'm sure that's the call.
Yeah, that's what he's called, Ravi. You don't miss much, champion.
Saturday back in Sydney, Western Suburbs and Balmain, one of only 2 matches on in the ARL split round. 4 p.m. you'll see that in Sydney, and check your local guides around Australia. Andrew, tomorrow with that match from Campbelltown.
The man who just played the ball backing up tomorrow, of course, in the Tigers team. He's played well considering he's had the flu all week, Timmy Brasher.
Carroll's had a problem
Leave it alone.
with possession, although he's off the hook here. Mark, as Manson comes to his aid, and he comes off Carroll immediately, and Dean Pay goes on. Line finder.
As we see the penalties there, 5-4, so 3-0 in the second half to Australia. The rest of the world enjoyed that advantage, 5-1 at the break, so no joy in the penalty department for them as Dean Pay tries to bump off Lowry. Can't do so. Ramika over the top as well.
So Australia starting to put some attack together. They're certainly in the right part of the ground. They're down 20 metres out from the rest of the world line. And then it's Larson who bumps away from Lowry, then goes back for a bit more. And Lowry eventually wins that battle. 70th minute. Fittler across. John's there. Harrigan running decoy. Came off the hand of McGregor. That's the advantage then for Bye. And the world side coming away off their own line with Willie McLean.
Interesting to see here who wants to put their hand up to do some work. They know the game's gone from them now, the rest of the world, and you find out who the gutsy, classy players are right now. Robinson, he just hasn't stopped all night. What a player he is. I reckon there's about 15,000 here, Reps, tonight.
Just under. I don't think there's 15.
Just short of it, Peter?
Hermanson, he's offloaded to Gary Larson here. Yeah, I think it's just shy, mate.
28 metres out from the rest of the world line as Matt Singh puts on a solo sprint that'll carry him home. Matt Singh is in behind the uprights. 26-8.
And they're out on their feet now, the rest of the world. We've seen the last 3 tries have been scored just with simple missed tackles. Howlett missed one, McLean missed one. This gave Australia possession. Terry Hermanson popping it up. Larson got in between the passer, the man it was intended for. And then I think you'll find it's Adrian Lamb and Lee Jackson who basically don't get a hand on Matt Singh as he just flies straight through the middle. Lamb was at marker and Jackson was to his left.
Well, they looked up and said, you've got him. No, you've got him. Well, who's got him? No one. Tangata and Jackson.
He doesn't give you much time though, does he?
Good player in, Matty Singh.
So, with Matt Singh over for his first international try. And the conversion is there for Andrew Johns. That scoreboard 28-8, 8 minutes to go. And here's the replay after Hermanson had made the mistake. A fend on Lamb, and then he went through the gap. I think one said to the other, he's yours. The other one replied in the same vein. And by that time he had gone. Willie McLean will set us back in motion. Some heavy breathing going on here. A couple of fellows have taken the 26.5, and it's Willie Moore scampering across to clean up his own mistake.
Oh, it's getting tight now, Raps.
I think that's what the heavy breathing's about anyway.
That half point, what a godsend it could prove to be as Brasher really gets through.
Well, here's the crowd figure coming through, 14,927. 14,927 here tonight. I would think the ARL would be pretty happy with that. 30-metre line under the green and golds as Pay and now Larson. Hermanson and McCracken making the tackle before Johns unloads. Simon is there and answers the call for Billy Moore, who's grasped about 3 metres from the halfway on tackle 5. Johns puts a low kick in, not looking for touch. Bye coming out to the 20-metre line where he's met and pulled down by Simon. And then from O'Reilly, 17 is McLean. What a night for Matt Singh. Probably hadn't even thought about what he might be doing this Friday night, and suddenly he finishes up on the park and scoring a try in the Australian colours. Beautiful stuff. Been an incredible day for a couple of them, really, including Geoff Toovey. This is Innes, just short of the halfway mark. Now Lamb. Australians coming up very quickly in defence. Howard. He, of course, will be involved, I would imagine, quite deeply in that match tomorrow. It's a very big game for those two clubs, Wests and Balmain, as they strive to make the top 7.
Well, it's an exciting time of the year for that, isn't it? We're running out of premiership rounds. Balmain currently outside the top 7 despite some good performances this year. Western Suburbs, well, they need to pick up some competition points at this end to consolidate their spot. And Adrian Lamb out there, he's had a quiet second half, hasn't he? Nowhere near as prominent as he was in the first 40. I know they haven't had as much possession. He really hasn't been able to inject himself the way that the world would have liked. Here's a chance.
Yeah, McGregor floated onto a pass from Fittler, then does a bit of light stepping, advantage rule, and Nahi comes away to be grasped about 35 metres out from his own line.
He's had a great game, McGregor. What Hill has done the left-hand side of the field, McGregor's done down the right-hand side of the field. Very good player, but Connolly still trying with his teammate from Wigan, Robinson. You know, when Wigan were out here, they were their 2 best players, weren't they?
Connolly now on the 40-metre line. Robinson away for Tangatoa, and now for Lowry, and Lowry flicks it back and away now for the world side with Willie McLean, put away by the Australian number 15, Simon.
I think the quality of Connolly and Jason Robinson, there's an awful pass knocked on by Tom O'Reilly. The quality of those 2 Wigan players that we're talking about is if you were picking a world side and you could pick Australian players in the world side, I'd still have to find room for both of those men. So they are top draw stuff.
Gary debuted against Papua in 1991, and of course he gave some service to Canterbury, valued service. And on top of everything else that Peter has said about him, he's a delightful person to know. Now for McGregor. Billy Moore probably hoping that Paul had thought about that pass, because it left him on the end of a thumping from Lowry. Now Kosseff's pass plucked off the ground by Johns, and then Brasher, and now Hill. 30 metres away from the line. 20 points the difference. And 3 minutes of time remaining as McGregor is taken out by, again, a kamikaze type tackle from Lowry. Fittler taking it to them, holding the pass back. Kosseff is with it. Connolly, his main idea was to keep his hands on the ball and shut that down. Not that it really matters now, apart from a couple of fellows who've got a vital interest monetarily. Just falling on the ground, and I'm still waiting for a player in defence to just let them lie there and take a penalty. Someday somebody's going to do that. Perfect opportunity there for Andrew Johns to be the first that I can recall. Friday night next, talking about big games, we've got one tomorrow, but next Friday is the Roosters versus the Eagles. Next Friday night in the second half of the split round of 16. Sydney City and Manly. That will be a tremendous game. You'll see it at 9:30 next Friday night. With just under 2 minutes of this one to go, it is 28-8. And they are heading for the payout cue. Long driving kick.
Yes, just what the doctor ordered. 26.5 starts, a great kick.
Who's impressed you tonight, Snorky, for the Australian team?
Well, I think Brash has been great at fullback, especially if there has been a cloud
Here we go.
for him over the week. McGregor's been good. Hill's been very strong. Fittler, they put a lot of pressure on Fittler tonight, the world side. Sort of singled him out to make sure that they didn't allow him to do too much. Marcus Bai, can he get on the outside? Good tackle down low from Matty Singh.
Well, he specialises at that caper. Matt Singh, anything close to the line, anything dangerous, he can put it out. Nutty, 9 out from the line, and this is Howard. So close to the line. Jackson, sweeping pass from the grass to Lamb and Tangata-Toa. Simon up the top, and the ball comes away for the Australians. So they worked hard to get the mistake, and eventually it presented itself.
I'd be very impressed in the rest of the world team from Lee Jackson tonight. I think he's had a sensational game. Of course, we mentioned Robinson, Connolly. McCracken was good while he was on there.
Marcus Bai's good.
And Marcus Bai as well.
5 tries to the Australians as the timepiece winds down, and 28 points to 8 at full time. Outstanding effort by Paul Harrigan as he leaves the bench. 5 tries for Australia, 2 for the rest of the world. Johns kicked 3, Simon kicked 1. And the penalties wound up at 5-4 to the rest of the world in front of a crowd of 14,927.